Hello there, it's Alan Pennington, Deputy Chairman of Suite CX and author of the Customer Experience book. Back with you today to talk about what I see as one of the most important misses for most organisations, which is actually around not customer or client journey mapping, but employee journey mapping. Why is that important? Well, in today's ever more competitive labour market, finding, hiring, recruiting and keeping the best people has to be at the top of most businesses' agenda. And yet, I would say that the way that we particularly hire, recruit, and then build loyalty with employees has not changed for maybe 50 years. There will be people around today, thousands and thousands of them, sitting opposite somebody across a desk, being given a 1-hour selection for what could be a life-changing opportunity for both the individual and the company. And yet we rarely even look at it. Why? Because it's kind of comfortable. And some people might say, well, if it ain't broke, don't try and fix it. But from my perspective, the world's moved on. Expectations that we all have are massively different. And actually, there are a huge number of improvements that can be made to the whole employee experience that will have real business benefits and could be a significant competitive differentiator. I'd suggest to you that actually employee is probably where customer or client was 20 years ago, maybe even further back. That's the bad news. The good news is that means there are huge opportunities to make real changes that will make a difference to your employees and indeed those who may be unsuccessful applying for a job but will think positively about you as a business as a result. So the good part about it is that the tools and methodologies, many of which can be adapted from all the work on customer and client, already exist. It's simply a matter of switching your mindset and applying the same kinds of approaches to the employee that we provide to the customers. So what is EJM and what's its purpose? Well, for me, there are two purposes. When I work with clients on this, there's typically two things that we have in mind. One is, are we delivering on the the client's employee promise, which is really important because the employee proposition is at the heart of how good we feel as individuals working for that corporation. And the second component is the way that you're able to connect all of your employees to your customer experience. So are there opportunities to engage people across the organization through their day-to-day interactions with the end customer or the end client? So why do we bother doing it? Well, if you look at it carefully, there are some key metrics that hang off this. Employee retention is significant. Reducing churn, particularly of your best people, has to be right up there. Think about the cost of hiring. Think about the week-on-week, day-on-day costs of selecting, interviewing, processing, providing material, training, all of those investments that we make in our people that are at risk if they decide to leave. So for me, it's the flip side, if you like, of the customer journey mapping. Employee journey mapping is equally potentially important because engaged employees make much better advocates for you as an organization. And we all know that. Just think about yourself. If you're unhappy, do you perform at your best? I don't think so. So actually, there's a real hard business benefit to engaging in this. Now, from my point of view, there are 3 or 4 key stages in an employee journey that you can focus on. And they might include the way you hire and recruit and select. They might include the way that you onboard people into the organization. It might be around how you then build their careers and promote them. So there are different stages that are key. And in each of those stages, again, as I said at the start of this conversation, little has changed over the years. And there are significant opportunities for you to re-engineer and redesign those key parts of the journey. Selection is a great one. I spent a lot of time thinking about that and have come up with a range of different options for my clients to think about how they hire people into the organization to ensure that they don't just get the person who interviews best, but they actually get the person who's the best person for the job. How many times have we hired somebody because, well, they were fantastic in that one-off interview, 1 hour, and they wrote a great CV. A CV? Really? Is that how you judge people today? And in fact, the person who was least confident in an interview, because it's just not their thing, fails to get the job, despite the fact they may well have been the best person at the time. Of course, using the Suite CX toolkit, you're able to take all of those interactions from an employee level, looking at what it's like to be an employee, and load those into the tool and create a journey map in the same way that you would for a client or a customer. And then once you've got that, if you have a mind to, you can start to attach all the assets that relate to that. Yeah, let's attach the annual appraisal and let's look at how that's actually carried out. Here's all the documentation, all logged into the system, all at your fingertips, and not actually spread across the organisation. So this, I guess, is a little bit of a call out to HR professionals. You know, for me, HR professionals should be in the room in any conversation about customer and client, because they set the tone through the organisation. So for me, yeah, it's really, really important. If you want to learn more about employee journey mapping, then feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn or through Suite CX, and we can talk more about the significant opportunities out there for you to really engage in some great changes to the way that you engage the employees in your organisation. That's it for now. I look forward to talking to you again very soon. Bye for now.